Welcome back. This is day 3 on the side of the gate. As you can tell, it's a little bit more windy and there's a lot of clouds, but hopefully it will clear up later in the day. So the wood has been pushed aside by a tractor that came into the field. Maybe you can see they did something to the grass here. I don't know what exactly. Maybe prepare it for planting or something like that. So yeah, today we'll continue with the debarking of the smaller pieces and maybe start thinking about the layout and the joinery. I don't know if we're gonna have a full day today, but we'll see how far we get. Let's get to it. looks like some animal, maybe a squirrel or a bird, left a nut in one of the hollow branches of this little log. So let's try and get it out. It's a little hazelnut. Let's keep this for good luck. Alright, so everything is finally debarked and ready for the joinery. So we have 5 posts, small ones, that gonna make the frame of the gate, and that are gonna be connected via the planks from the log and are going to be secured into the big tree via mortise and tenon joint with a drop board peg. So right now it's just a matter of defining all the dimensions and trying to figure out the orientations and starting to mark those out. So this is the pivoting post. It has a bit of a wider end on this side, a bit of a smaller end on this side. So obviously this is the top of the tree and this being the bottom. I actually want to install it upside down into the ground. I don't know if that has a bad effect on the wood. I don't really think so. I thought maybe for water penetration via the grain, but I think it's less of a problem than the knots that are in the wood. So if I flip this over, so if I put it in the ground upside down, which I intend to do, that means that the thicker end is up, so the gate has more contact area, which will look, I think, a little bit more sturdy. So the thicker end matches the thicker dimension of the log of the big tree, and so it doesn't look quite so drastic of a change. And also the knots will be pointed downwards, so that may be a help with preventing water penetration into these end grain sections, which sometimes are already a little bit porous, so water would maybe collect in there and cause problems. So by putting the log upside down, it solves both of my problems. So the water will drain, and I think it will look better. You know, another issue is that this log has a little bit of a bend, so putting it in the ground I would need a crooked hole. So I don't know if that's gonna be a big issue or not. I don't think so. I just have to dig a little bit more of a trench, or maybe try to use an auger bit on a little bit of a diagonal. We'll see how that goes. So this is about 3 meters in length, and from the top end we're gonna have 1.20 meters. So let's mark this out. I'm gonna put 1.30 meters so I can square off the top later, because right now it's obviously not exactly straight, and that leaves also about 1.30 meters to go into the ground. I don't know exactly how deep the auger bits will be able to drill, so we'll see when we get it. I'm gonna have to rent it. So I'm gonna wait with cross-cutting these to length until I have the auger bit and I know how deep I can go into the ground. Same goes for the 2 forked pieces, this one here and this one here. I might already mark out where more or less the ground will be. So it will be around 1.20 m from the crotch area, although it will need a little bit more space for the big tree to rest in. So we'll see about that. So we also have some punky knots in these logs, and obviously I cannot put these in the ground upside down. So maybe we have to do something about that, like for example drilling a hole all the way through, or filling these with some compound like epoxy, but that's a little bit nasty, so maybe we'll just drill a hole through and hope that helps with draining the water. So the next thing we can do is orient the smaller pieces to make the gate, put them in some kind of sequence that looks the best, choose an orientation for them, and make a tenon on the end and leave them long so we can cut them to length later. This is probably what I will do next. So yeah, next time I gotta make sure that the big log for the planks will get sawn. I asked around for some quotes for the price for that, and I have to choose a guy to come and do it. So yeah, when I have the planks I can try and figure out the balancing point of the gate. So what I intend to do is secure all the things that will be included in the gate, so like the small posts and 3 planks on the one end of the log, and then hoist it up and try and find the balance point. So what I'm gonna have to do for that is make like a tripod, like the one for my camera, but then out of wood, and make a chain hoist in the center so I can lift up this heavy collection of logs. So yeah, I'm gonna have to buy those. I thought for a second to use the logs that I have here, but I don't wanna, I don't know, mistreat them or do something wrong with them. Yeah, I still have to think about that. So what I might do is take these small pieces home with me to make the tenons for them in my shop, so I'm nice and warm and I have all the tools available, and a workbench with a bench vise. It's going to be much easier than try to do it here in the field. So the tenons might all vary in size, or maybe I just make them to the size of the smallest possible tenon that I'm gonna have to use for these little logs. I can also prepare the pegs already if I have some leftover wood. So when I make the tenons at home and they're finished, I can come here and lay out the mortises on the big log. So these are the small logs that need the tenon. So there's one long one that's about 3 meters long. I'm gonna cut it in half, so I have 5 pieces of almost 1.5 meters, which should be plenty still to make the joinery. Alright, so let's cut this long one in half. So I think I might need to buy 3 of the same long posts to make the tripod, so I can attach a chain hoist and lift up the big log and the gate. But maybe I can make a tripod out of these leftover logs that I have. They're very different in size, obviously. Some of them have forks that maybe can hook into each other. So I'm gonna try and put something up. I am alone here though, so it might be difficult to do, but we'll see how far I get. Alright, so here we have our tripod. It's not the most secure, but I don't know, maybe it will do. I might change the longest, smallest one with one of the forked beams that I have. This one, because it's the longest. So who knows, maybe that's enough to attach the chain hoist and lift everything up.